How you doing?
Yo.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Fandom Sports Podcast. Today you'll be joined by myself, Caleb Consman, and
Josh Consman.
As usual, we're going to be kicking it off to the Week 3 bets. Last week we did not do good at all.
Keeping it rolling, you know.
We're going to try to get on the positive. My lock, what's it called? What would be the word for it?
You got to push.
Yeah, I got to push.
So you got your money back.
Got my money back, and it should have been a hit, but for whatever reason, Panthers came and scored versus the Saints, and that really pissed me off big time. Saints kind of just let up. That would have been 10 units plus, or like 9 units something. So that kind of pissed me off the most.
And my lock hit, but I still ended up negative because I got whatever on Stevenson give me the hook for 1 yard.
And you only had 5 units on your lock, right?
Yeah. So
which is still a lot. But,
yeah.
Pull up the last
quick
week's
recap.
numbers. That's all you.
So, yeah, it was negative 0.42 units. Caleb went negative 5.56. So, overall, combined, negative 5.97. On the year, we're at negative 12 something. Pretty much we're like steady, consistent, negative 6. So, hopefully we get these locks going back the right direction. I'm feeling good about this week. I feel like the first couple weeks is when Vegas makes most of its money just because everyone's unsure about what to bet on and what the teams and defenses look like.
Week 2 is definitely the hardest. I would say week 1's usually the easiest, but then week 2 they probably come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, unless you somehow have a lot more inside knowledge and like you just know
teams more.
Yeah.
Schemes.
But not even just schemes, just like how the team's doing in practice and whatnot. Because the team can look good last year and just have a bad practice and off season. But yeah, we're going to get back into it. Caleb's going to spin the wheel for this week. I'll just recap last week too. Here's my new spread that I just purchased. So we got some nice Giants leggings. Maybe I'll even sport them to the Giants-Eagles game in the winter.
Make the button look nice and ripe.
Nice little small wiener.
Get the bulge going.
Dude, it's awful. The Eagles bulge was like why am I don't know.
You didn't wear it last year, did you? It was just me.
No, I had to wear it at Parks. We both did.
You
don't remember taking a video of me from like upstairs?
I remember taking a video, but I didn't remember yours being on. I remember me wearing mine.
Probably have it saved still. I'm pretty sure you posted it and everything.
I tried having Brittany wear it to the Steelers game this past weekend we went to, but she didn't want to wear them. So I was like,
I got you, yeah.
She said they'd be too big, and I was like, just
I
tailor them.
I got extra large last year, and it was like weirdly tight in like the guy areas, and then like it just felt like super baggy below, like I was wearing flare out jeans from like the 80s. Anyways, let's get into Caleb's wheel. Let's spin them off.
Whoa! Can I press the button? I want to press the button.
Sure. 1 second, if I can get to it. What do I press? The middle, or really anything?
All right, here we go. What we got?
L many.
Rep it hard.
Degenerate. All right,
What is degenerate,
I kind of forget, so let's go right into it. I'm pretty sure. So degenerate gamble. So you got to blindly follow a random YouTube video bet for 1 unit. So any YouTube video bet for this week's games or next week's games.
And find next week? No.
You want to do this week's?
We'll do this week's.
All right.
You'll find this on YouTube, on our reels. So go over on our YouTube, follow us, and you can always stay up to with our reels. They are released for Thursday, basically prime games Thursday, Monday, and sometimes Sunday night, depending on how we're feeling. So you can go over there. I will take a little deep dive in YouTube, see what I want. Deep dive.
This is blind. You gotta be degenerate.
Blind.
It means
I still gotta pick which one I want.
Yeah,
right?
but you're not listening to anything they say.
Why?
You're just randomly picking.
Most smart post people won't post it instantly. They'll like say why, and then they'll get.
Yeah, I get that, but you're just the first one you choose.
The first
pick.
one.
It's the first video.
It just says random.
It says blindly choose. Everybody knows when you're blindly following somebody, you're not.
All right, I'll
doing
type
any
in,
dive yourself.
This is what I'll do. I'll find what game I want, and I'll say Ravens blah 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 bet or something like that, and then whatever comes up, I'll put that. Does that sound good?
I don't care as long as you follow some random person.
That'll be on a reel. How many units? Only 1 unit?
1 unit.
Cool.
Yeah. the hell?
And that's going towards my thing for next week or this week?
Yeah, it can count towards your thing.
Towards this week?
Yeah.
Can we do it next week?
No, what do you mean? Just wait for this one.
All right, sounds good. Look for that on our reel. Like Josh said, he lost last week, so he will be wearing those pants to some future game, and we will go from there. You said you don't have any spreads or...
No, I got no spreads or over-unders. Not that I hated them. I don't know. I feel like I'm not confident in too many teams more than like a handful to actually cover a spread.
Yeah, the spreads did not look good this week. They looked good last week, and they all usually probably shit the bed, to be honest. It was very bad. Giants should have covered. They didn't. For whatever reason, they came back and won versus Cardinals. Thank God, because my future bet still hit for that. And then Chargers lost.
I feel like your future's such a lock. After watching a game like that, I'm like, dude, they're selling out so hard. For Caleb Williams, that like, if you lose a 20-point lead or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was bad. All right, well, I got one spread, so we'll just kick it off with that. I'm trying to double check to make sure I don't have any other spreads, but nope, that's the only spread I got. I am going to go over to the Titans versus Browns. Watson has looked horrible so far. I believe he's like second worst on completion percentage. Not completion percentage, QBR percentage. And their defense is obviously very, very good, but they just lost Chubb. Now they have Ford in the backfield with Hunt on the new signing. So who knows what Hunt and them are going to do? Who knows if they're going to run the ball as much? Most likely will, especially with Watson being their quarterback. But they have a whole healthy wide receiver core going in this week. But they're playing the Titans. The Titans have been stout on defense, including mainly the rush defense.
I was about to say, I think it's more the rush.
Yeah, mainly the rush defense, not their secondary. And when you're going up against Browns that are known just to run the ball down your throat, Watson's horrible or looked horrible passing the ball, then you know that they're probably going to be able to stop their offense. And Titans, we all know Tannehill is not it. He needs to get swapped out. They need to find a new quarterback, whether they have it in their backups or not. That's not really the question. It's just more or less they need to get Tannehill out of there. I don't think they're going to bring him to the promised land or even to a playoff second round. But either way, I'm going to take Titans plus 3.5 at minus 118 for 1 unit. I just can't see them honestly losing. I don't think Browns are going to beat them. So if you're going to give me at plus 3.5, which is just a field goal, then I'm going to take that all day long because you have two defenses that it should be a close game. So if you're going to make a close game plus the team that I think is going to personally win on the positive, I'm going to take that all day. So plus 3.5 Titans minus 118 for 1 unit.
I feel like it's going to be a close, low-scoring game, like almost every Titans game is, but like I definitely see the Browns winning. So like my only worry is that since it's a 1-score game, it could just jump up above that 3.5.
Yeah.
Mainly because Derrick Henry's hurt with like
he's still playing though.
Some kind of minor turf toe, it seems like. Oh yeah, he's going to play, but I don't know. I just feel like
Spears has looked good too, and they've used them a good amount.
Like Hunt's like an underrated ad just because he's an easy pass target for Watson, and he's a lot more capable in an offense he already knows.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to use him a lot more.
My biggest worry about this game is a pick six happening against the Titans because I can easily see Tannehill throwing a pick six versus Browns defense because they've actually looked pretty
But I think he's really good at not throwing picks.
Don't say that again. This dude threw 3 picks the first game.
I swore it was him when they were announcing. Was it him? Who was it they were announcing?
He did good last year.
Oh, you know who it was?
He did good last year not throwing picks.
I'm confusing him with Jared Goff. Remember watching the Lion games. They're like, oh, he hasn't thrown a pick. And there he goes.
Yep, they threw it. Yeah. But he threw 3 picks the first week, so I can easily see this happening with, what's it called? A pick six. But
like I said, I don't love it, but it makes sense. And I like their coaching.
Is it just me, or did it get like fucking dark?
Dark as hell, yeah. Which like we are.
It's probably because this window in the back, it's like doing some weird thing. Anyway,
the sun's moving, but I still feel like that should be better than the sun.
Let's move right into our prop bets. You can get started since I just went with mine.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll hop right in. So we're both on this, I think. But I got Jerome Ford under 45.5 rushing yards. If you don't know who that is, it's the guy filling in for Chubb now, or supposedly filling in. He'll definitely be the lead back when it comes to rushing. Hunt's not going to take all the work, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hunt starts instantly at 40% snaps. So he's not going to get as many opportunities as he did last game. He got like 17 rush attempts or something crazy, 13, 14. I don't know. It was pretty high. But if you look back at his last game, he had a 70-yard rush against the Steelers. Take that away, he averaged 2.5 yards per carry. It was not. He looked like he hit a wall every time he ran up the middle, and that's versus Steelers defense.
Yeah, which is rush defense. They are.
Now he gets to play the Titans rush defense, who's probably top 5, if not top 3 right now in rush defense. And their secondary is not good, so people know that and plan to throw the ball more every time they come in a game versus the Titans.
They're actually first in yards per game.
Yeah,
for rush yards.
But I believe it because last year only two rushers went above 60 yards. It was Saquon and Josh Jacobs, and they played pretty good running backs last year. Not a single one went over 60. I don't think a single one went over 50 this year. So they really hold people in check to like 2 to 3 yards per carry. So I see that with Jerome Ford just being a rookie. I mean, yeah, he's going to try his heart out, but unless he gets a breakaway run, he is not hitting this over. So I got that at 1 unit for negative 114 odds.
And I got the same thing, so lock it in for me, which is
double.
I would say a podcast lock, but since it's at 45.
The only reason I'm not making a lock is just because the breakaway potential if he hits like an edge or something.
That plus I believe it's truly a low number if he's going to get enough usage. It all depends on
he's going to get like 14 carries.
Yeah.
That means he's got to average less than 3 yards.
Yeah. So it's definitely low enough just because it's the Titans defense. Plus, I don't think they're going to be ahead of the game, which is why I took Titans plus 3.5 as well. So that kind of just tells you that he's probably not going to be running it a lot, even though he might get a lot of attempts just because of the way they play the game as far as Browns. But do you have any more in that same game? I don't think I do either.
I do not. Negative.
Okay. All right, I'm going to move over to KC versus Bears in case you got any. I'm going to start with Kelsey over 73.5 receiving yards. This dude basically shit the bed last week on his game back. He just had a knee bruise? Is that what it was? I forget what exactly it was.
It's just knee, right? He hyperextended his knee.
So there's like a bruise or whatever in that. He came back. He didn't look exactly the same as he was, and we all know him for. But I don't think it's going to be hindering him that much on this week. Plus, they're playing the Bears, their defense is literally the worst in the league right now. I believe there was this thing that they said that the head coach took over the defense because the defensive coach just got fired or something like that.
Yeah, there's some weird scandal or something. Everyone's like,
he basically just left without saying anything.
I think he had health problems, actual health problems, but
either way, their defense coordinator's out, and then apparently their offense coordinator's coming over, and they looked horrible last week. They looked horrible week 1. So I just can't see Kelsey not getting fed. So I'm going to take his over 73.5 receiving yards for minus 114, 1 unit. And then I'm going to make another back-to-back one with him. I'm going to take his receiving yards at 70, so it's a little bit back from what they have it at right now, and then parlay it with him to get the first team touchdown. We did it last week. He got a touchdown, but it wasn't the first team one. So we're going to try to run it back up again versus horrible offense. Hopefully they just go down there, and then Mahomes like, here it goes to my favorite target, and then he just gets the first team touchdown. That I'm only taking at a half unit because obviously just like last week.
What's the odds on that one?
It is plus 687. I'm taking half unit. So last week I think it was like plus 2 something or plus 4 something.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah. So
I think it was 5.
I like it a lot more here, especially versus a horrible defense and a horrible team in general. Hopefully he gets the first one. That's the only thing I can really not feel great about, but I feel great about him getting a touchdown. So as long as it's the first one, then I'm good. You said you don't have any in that game?
No.
All right,
I'm definitely interested to watch it, but
yeah, same. Let's move on to the next game.
You mean next bet? I
Next
don't have
bet.
that many bets.
And we'll see what game.
So I'm diving back into the dude who screwed me week 1. It's probably the main reason I'm negative, really. Yeah, he's exactly the reason I'm negative. Because other than that, I've pretty much been dead even. So I'm going to Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery is out this week.
He's ruled out?
Yeah, he's doubtful. But everyone's saying he's going to be out for 2 weeks plus.
Yeah, usually when it's doubtful, it usually means he's
so yeah, he'll be the starting running back. There is a backup. He's supposed to be more of a rusher, but I still believe Gibbs is going to get majority of the work. His percentage is going to go from the 40s to 60s. So I have his over 46.5 rushing yards. If you actually look, most books don't even have his receiving line out just because he got like 9 targets last week. So they're probably just not sure where to put him at just because he's going to get a lot of work.
Such a shame because your week 1 was your lock with his receptions or his receiving yards, and he goes from 2 receptions / targets to 9 targets and 7 receptions. It's like, gosh, why couldn't they just do it what they were supposed to do?
Well, that's also because what's his name was in the whole game, and he got a decent amount of targets. Montgomery got a decent amount of targets week 1.
Yeah.
And he was out at least half the game.
And they ran the ball like crazy. So, I understand it.
So I just think it's just a sign that he's going to get a lot of the workload. It's not going to be this backup. They're not going to limit him as much, really see what he can do. And if you give this dude 10-plus carries, he's going to hit that mark. He's just really explosive. Which is why I doubled up on Gibbs. I got over 9.5 rush attempts. I didn't put the odds in, but I believe they're both like negative 114, negative 120. Yeah, that bet's crazy.
Yeah,
he had
I'm about to look at
7
that now,
attempts
actually.
week 1, 7 attempts week 2.
Can this be my random YouTuber?
But it's just wild that they don't think he's going to get 10 rushes because he's not the rushing back. Like,
he's still elite, dude.
Their weapon.
He looked better than Montgomery week 1. I don't care what anyone says.
He did.
He just didn't get the workload.
But I don't understand why it's that low at all. I think it's like -1. It's a little juice, like negative 120.
It's at 10.5 now. So if you guys are listening to it, you guys are missing out. So just take it now. I still love it at 10.5. To be honest, I'm thinking like 14 to 16.
9.5. I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, that's extremely low.
Let me see what I actually got on it because I know I definitely got it 9.
They probably had to do that too. Definitely because he got 9 targets last game. So now they're going to think, oh, well, maybe he's going to what they drafted him for, which was receiving the ball.
But he's the lead
but he's
back.
Still very, very good. Exactly. He's the lead back on an amazing offensive line, a high-scoring team, and they're playing Falcons, which is a good defense, but it's a close game.
It's just mediocre. Yeah, it'll be close.
Yeah. It's not.
But, yeah, I love them this week. So I got 1 unit on each. I'm pretty sure I just looked at my attempts one. It was negative 114, which is good odds too. So 1 unit each. I think he's going to bring it back for me. I'm just not going to dive deep into him because he screwed me. So,
all right. Well, I don't have anything on that one, unfortunately, because the lines weren't out in time for me. Plus, I just didn't really want to touch anything.
I wonder if his rushing went up too. Probably did.
Probably.
If it went up a whole.
But I'm going to go over to what I did last week. I am taking. Actually, it is the same game. What am I saying? Falcons versus Lions. Robinson, anytime touchdown score. He got screwed last week because Ritter ran one in, and then they just threw one, I believe. I forget exactly what it is. But either way, they literally threw 3 times in a row, and then they converted to try to just take the field goal, and they didn't even let him get one chance on running the ball, which is ridiculous when you're in the red zone and inside the 10. Just give it to Robinson and let him run it in. Then Ritter obviously took one. Ritter's not going to do that probably more than 2 times, 3 times this year, if I had to guess, with how amazing their backs are and their line is. So I'm going to take him anytime touchdown, parlayed with 60 rushing yards. We talked last week with Calvin Ridley's receiving yards probably going to go higher as an average. I think his Robinson's rushing yards is going to go higher as an average, and I think it's very, very low right now. So I'm going to take that a half unit, another half unit at plus 162. Robinson anytime touchdown score, and Robinson over 60 rushing yards. And then the next one
What's
I
the
got
odds on that one?
plus 162. It's only a half unit though.
It's wild. It's kind of low for, I guess, because his touchdown odds aren't great.
No.
Yeah.
That plus, I believe his rushing yards are at 68, 70, something like that. 67.
Yeah.
So you're obviously taking stepped down by almost 10 yards, which is a lot for him. But then the other one that I am taking a full unit on is the anytime touchdown score. So I'm taking half on that parlay with his rushing yards, and then I'm taking one full unit on anytime touchdown score, Bijan Robinson, at minus 105. So it's not too bad.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's actually more the 60. At minus 105 for one unit. And I just really think he's not going to not get a touchdown. I just see him easily running it in, especially versus Detroit, which they've been decent, but I would say more in the rush game for the passing the ball as far as their
defense
goes.
really isn't that great.
Yeah. It's more about just the rush game, stopping the quarterback from throwing and having to throw fast and often. But yeah, that's all I got for that game. We'll move on to your next one.
Yeah, so my next one, I got the Raiders. Who do they play?
Steelers.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
So I'm going for kind of like the game script outlook. I'm looking for a low scoring-ish game. Obviously, I think it'll be a close-ish game. So just keeping it both teams 20s or less, like low 20s or less. So I got the same game parlay of total points under 53.5. That's an alternate, obviously. What's the total over under? 43 to start?
It's got to be low, extremely low.
And then I parlayed that. This whole thing's pretty juiced, but I just like it because I think it's safe, just not safe enough for a lock. I parlayed it with Josh Jacobs, 50-plus rushing yards. The Steelers just aren't a great rush defense. I mean, I think they're better than last year by a good amount.
They're trash.
No, they're decent up the middle. I just think Josh Jacobs is going to get too much work.
Not with Hayward out.
He's going to get too much work to not hit this 50. Like, he's going to get 14
you
plus
think so?
attempts.
That's my biggest worry is he doesn't get enough work.
Why wouldn't? Who's he going to take it from? Zamir White?
I think they're just going to throw the ball a lot. I don't think it's ever going to be much
Jimmy Garoppolo
rushing.
doesn't throw the ball in general.
Yeah, but when so Raiders never let up a sack, and they're going against Steelers with probably the best duo edge rushers. So they're literally going to get to him in like splits of seconds. So he's going to have to check it down instantly, which I believe what's his name's back that kind of took the Renfro role. No, the wide receiver that came over from Patriots.
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is back. He wasn't last week. And then you have Adams that can take it over the top. So with them two and his route running too, with them two, I just see him literally checking it down or then getting that deep over the top ball, which I don't think is going to happen much because they're edge rushers. So that's why I think he's not going to get a lot of rushing attempts, but it's still possible because the Steelers' rush defense is horrible, and I will mark my word on that.
Yeah.
Watching the Steelers, they let up.
I mean, I'm not big on Josh Jacobs this year,
yards.
especially because he got his contract.
Yeah, he just went negative yards last game.
Did he
right?
get his contract? He did, right?
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, he got the big payday, right?
If you want to call it a contract, I guess it's a 1 year.
Oh, yeah, he was the one that almost held out. Yeah. I don't know. So maybe he didn't get his contract, so complete contract, so he's really trying to get that next big one. He definitely doesn't seem like he's trying as hard, only because he hasn't hit this mark yet this year. Last game was a blowout, so you kind of could throw it out the window. They weren't going to rush the ball when they were down by 20-something.
Still bad to finish -2.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is, but he pretty much gave up on that game.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 50-plus yards receiving. Either way, I just like it against the Steelers. It let up a lot of rushing yards. So 1 unit on it. Honestly, it's a lot of juice. So if you're not going to take it, I don't blame you. But negative 168, 1 unit, just a quick chip.
I think the under on this is what's making it the most juiced. And honestly, I would, if you guys want to listen in,
lower
the under or lower the under, and it will probably give you better odds because I truly think this game is going to be low scoring. I don't think Steelers can move the ball that much, and I believe Steelers defense is like the top 3 defense, especially with their edge rushers. And yeah, I mean they're literally put so much pressure on everyone, including the Eagles. So hopefully that happens and I get my sack future bet. But I am going to move on to my next bet. This one, I'm not really feeling it, but I am feeling it because Minnesota is playing Chargers. All right.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? That means this should be a high scoring game because both defenses are horrible. Like absolutely horrible. I don't know how Chargers lose to Titans last week. Was that who they played, I believe?
Yeah.
I don't know. But They lost, and that was pathetic.
it was,
They had him at -3, and I took that, and I was hoping it happened. So I don't really know what the Chargers are, and I don't really know what the Vikings are, but I do know that their defenses are horrible. And I believe that Jefferson was pissed last week and week 1, and they're 0-2, I believe, right?
Yeah, both of them are 0-2, both teams.
Both teams are 0-2, so that's pretty bad. So they want to probably win, but their defenses are not going to be the ones that keep them in. So that means their offense got to go off. All right, I checked into a couple of Addison's numbers, but Addison literally gets most of his receiving yards off a deep ball.
Yep.
So I can't really do anything with receptions or receiving that, because then you're just hoping with that to hit. So with that being said, I am going to take Justin Jefferson over. The bad part, what do you think it's probably at? You probably saw
Jefferson. I think I saw an 8, but if I had to guess, like low 80s.
105 receiving yards.
What?
Yeah,
Dude, after that.
It's extremely high.
Like, this
but
ain't Derrick Henry. What the fudge?
It's extremely high.
What is Addison at?
But get this.
Freaking.
Like 50, 60, something like that.
That's high too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is a trap game, bro. This is going to be a low-scoring game.
So, but you got to be reasonable. The Jefferson got 150 receiving yards the first game.
Yeah.
And then 159 the second game.
Yeah, was he going to average 150?
He played Tampa Bay and Philadelphia. Now he plays the Chargers. Like, the Chargers are definitely defensive-wise, especially secondary,
I just feel like
worse than those teams.
if they want to win, as
They
long
need
as
to
they
give
don't.
Jefferson the ball. Simple as that.
No, they've been doing that. Obviously, they're not winning.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Their
They
defense
need more
ain't gonna win
bounce.
the game.
They need to
It's that
run
simple.
more.
They're not going to be able to run. I mean, they could versus the
They
Chargers.
literally
yeah.
gave Madison like 8 attempts last.
Yeah, they could versus the Chargers. You're right. You could be right about that. Like I said, the thing I don't like about this the most is Jefferson's number, which is 105 receiving yards. But I'm going to take it at 1 unit simply because I just think that he can do it. He's shown he's going to do it. And I truly think he's going to go down in history as the best wide receiver in the game, period. I don't think anyone will ever be able to compete with him.
Olave was looking pretty good.
Okay.
You see that catch?
I don't care about any
That was
catch.
better than
I don't care about any
OBJ.
catch. His stats are literally going to be through the roof compared to anyone in ever. Like, this dude's
yeah,
never been
but
hurt.
I'm more of a talent guy. Just because you put up stats,
I didn't say
It's impressive,
talent.
but
I
it's
think
like-
he's just going to be the best ever, which means everything.
like if it wasn't on the
More than
Vikings, he
talents.
wouldn't be close to the best. Just because they throw
There's
so
multiple
much.
teams that he could be on, but yeah, I would say if that's definitely one that helps him. But either way, that's degrading him, which we are not doing here. We are lifting him up. He's going to get peppered with a bunch of targets because
What is his
he's
target
pissed.
set for the year?
He got 12 first week and 13 the second week, and he got 9 receptions the first week and 11
That makes
receptions.
me feel a little better.
Yeah, so
He's gonna get 10 targets
Yeah.
plus.
he's gone. His lowest receptions were 9. So he can also take it over the top as well. I'm not just saying that's only Addison's role. That's literally Jefferson's one of those dudes that can do it all. So I truly believe he can go over this with the matchup. Like we just talked about, this should be a high scoring game because the defense is complete trash on both sides, and both teams are 0-2, so they want to win. And hopefully it's not the Chargers defense that are just randomly showing up and locking down to actually get the win because they're desperate. But either way, I'm going to take that for 1 unit and move on. You got any more bets?
Yeah, so I got one last prop bet. I got a bet I've been rolling with all year, and it hasn't hit yet. We're 2-0, baby. That is the Eagles' rush defense to put the under on every rusher that's been against them. You had Stevenson under 59.5 rush yards. You had Alexander Madison under, I think it was low even, like 45 or 50 rush yards. They've been shutting down the rush, and it's not really a surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
It's just,
They got some big boys.
I guess because the games have been close, people haven't really been noticing as much, like how elite they are. Like, they're almost like the Buccaneers, 2-3 years ago it was, when nobody could rush over 50 yards. No matter if you were Derrick Henry, CMC. So you're going to tell me Rashad White is going to go over 50 yards? Nah, we're taking his under 49.5 rush yards. Negative 114 odds for 1.5 units. Honestly, I was surprised his line's this high. Like, you're talking about one of the most inefficient rushers since he joined the league.
One thing I like about this bet the most, too, is Baker's surprisingly been pretty decent, but he's also played horrible offenses, including the Vikings, like we were just talking about, and then Chicago, which we talked about earlier, as far as being horrible. And so he's gotten a lot of attempts. He's gotten 34 in each week. So they've been throwing the ball a decent amount, especially when you have Godwin and Evans that literally can just make him look good, which I think that's what's going on right now more than anything. But
and it's almost like a Titan situation. Like the Eagles' rush defense is so good, and their secondary is not bad, but it's nowhere near what it was last year.
Yeah, definitely not.
So people are throwing them on purpose because, one, they got to keep up. Two, that's the only way they can see getting through any yards.
Plus, they're also comparing it to they had Bradbury out last week and Blankenship out and some other dude, I forget his name. So they were hurt last week, and there's only 2 weeks to go off of, so you can't really compare much. I still think the secondary is very, very good.
No, it's good. It's just not like last year. It was pretty like you were not beating Bradbury.
Besides in the Super Bowl, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. But Bradbury, Slay, and Sauce. Is this what? Not
he was
Sauce.
last year.
What's the guy that went to CJ
Gardner.
Them three together.
They said he said he was Sauce for a little bit, but anyway. I am going to get into my other bets. I got a couple more, I believe. My next one is like you said, scrolling through and shit. Russell Wilson. He's going up against Dolphins. This is another defense that has not looked great. They do have a good secondary. I will give him that with Howard and why can't I think of his name? The corner that was at Rams. Literally been the best corner in a long time.
Xavier Howard and
why are we drawing this blank? This is horrible.
Not Ramsey, right?
Yeah, Ramsey. There we go. Howard, Dolphins got Ramsey and then Howard. So obviously their secondary is good somewhat. But I am going to take Russell Wilson's rushing over 13.5 from -114.
Pretty low.
And a 1 unit. It is an extremely low number considering their defense they're going up against as far as their front goes. And then on top of that, last week, if anyone's watched preseason, this dude looks rejuvenated like no other. He looks like he actually has his legs. He looked like he lost weight. He looks like he wants to actually compete. And I believe they're, 1-1?
Sounds, I don't know. They screwed me last week, so whatever.
They definitely lost last week versus Washington, but I'm pretty sure they won the first game. But last week,
choked on that game.
Last week, he rushed for 6 attempts and 56 rushing yards, and now you're taking this at 13.5 rushing yards. Like, give me that all day long. They don't really rush much at all. They throw the ball a lot, so Williams isn't going to get a lot of attempts, plus he's still dealing with his ACL tear, I believe it was.
How are you talking about Williams?
They're Javonte Williams, the running back.
Yeah.
His ACL, I think.
I mean, he tore a couple ligaments, but he's came back early.
Yeah, but he's basically not himself. We all know what that injury does to him. And then you have P. Ryan behind him, which also gets a lot of receiving yards more than rushing yards. So as far as running goes, they're not going to do that well. And we know Wilson can do it, especially early in his career. We all knew that he was great for getting out of the pocket, extending the play, and then getting those first downs for a couple yards. So you give me literally 13.5. I'm going to take it at -114.
The one thing I hate, and I kind of get it more for fantasy, and it's good for this bet, but like I hate how quarterbacks, when they get sacked, it doesn't count against their rush yards, even if they're like running out of the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird. Like if it was a running back, it'd be like negative 20 yards.
They have to be out of the hashtags, and then
no, they still get
even if they don't get past the line.
It still doesn't count. Like they could be full force running.
I did not know that.
And it's like, nope, 0 yards is a sack.
Interesting.
I'm like, okay.
Well, did not know that, but that's pretty interesting. So I'm just going to take that at 1 unit -114. I don't see why it can't happen. I mean, this Dolphins should pretty much have the lead the entire time. Right?
Maybe I'm wrong. Because when they kneel, I'm pretty sure you lose 0.1 points.
Yeah, but that's kneeling. It's kneeling. That's not getting sacked. So I can understand that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess you kind of say I'm a rusher.
Let us know if you guys know that. If not, we will take a look in it, or at least I will in the future. But that is my last prop. We can get over onto our long shot parlays and then move on to our lock. What is your long shot parlay?
All right, I dissected up.
Pause
what?
it.
Pause. We
Pause
got
it.
another one?
I got one more.
A good one.
It's in the
I hope
books.
it's good.
It's actually not good. Don't know why I bet it. I asked myself this earlier, but it is what it is. We're gonna rock it. I got all the slate, so I'm gonna give it to you guys. You don't have to rock with this though. Najee Harris over 50.5 rushing yards.
Ugh.
Raiders defense is not good at all, to be honest. Their pass rush is good. I will give them that, which Kenny Pickett has not looked great. But the thing is, the reason I think I took it was because everyone in Steelers fandom, unity, whatever you want to call it, has been talking about how they just been throwing the ball nonstop. And Najee Harris actually has done very well with the attempts he's gotten. Let me pull it up real fast. But basically, they've been saying, like, hey, run the ball more. Fire Matt Canada. You suck. You literally can't get us anything. All he's been known for is jet sweeps over and over and over and over. And he hasn't done anything for this team when we have
There goes McLeod.
amazing talent. McLeod.
Isn't that one of your jet sweep guys?
Nah, he went over to the 49ers.
Oh.
McLeod used to be with us, but he was one of our jet sweep guys back when Claypool was there. But anyway, he's averaging the first week he got 5.1 yards per carry, and then the second week he got 4.3. So he's only gotten 16 attempts in 2 games. That's literally insane. And this is what Steelers have been like trying to just ram down their throats, like run the ball more. Pickett's not getting it done, obviously, and your dumb little schemes and your dumb little plays aren't working. So instead of these dumb jet sweeps, give the ball either to Warren. Warren's not gotten many attempts either. He's just been getting receiving like bubble screen plays. So run the ball and see what happens versus a defense that is not good, even though they're away and they're coming off a short week, I believe, because they had Monday night, right? Yeah, they had Monday night, so it's a little bit shorter. It's a day shorter. It's not anything crazy. But run the ball and see what Harris can do, even if it's with Warren. I don't even care. Run the damn ball. Hopefully he's the lead back and he gets his chances. But that's why I'm taking at over 50.5 because they have not been running and they've been losing, even though they won last week strictly because their defense got 2 touchdowns. So minus 114, over 50.5 receiving or rushing yards for Najee Harris, 1 unit. And that is my props. Let's get on to the long shots now.
All right. So back to our long shots. They got to be 1,000+ odds this week. I'm looking at a plus. What are we at? Mine is a plus 5,096, so way over the mark. But I dissected a lot of games and picked my favorite plays in I think 3 or 4 different games. So you might have heard a couple of these, but I got Lions money line.
Don't do the odds on each line. Just
Yeah, I'm just rolling through it.
Okay.
My total's plus 5,000. Lions money line, Jameer Gibbs over 46.5 rushing yards.
Okay, we talked
Jerome
about that.
Ford under 45.5 rushing yards.
Talked about that.
Yep. Mari Cooper over 4.5 receptions. He's been getting peppered with targets. And
Playing who?
the Steelers, right? Or
No.
Browns and Titans. Yeah,
Secondary's not as good as their front.
Exactly. So they're going to throw more than they're going to rush.
They'll be down.
I got James Cook, my fantasy MVP. He's going to get it this week.
But
His
he's on my
first
team.
touchdown of the year. Yeah, because you drafted him way ahead. Anyway, any touchdown for James Cook this week. Bills
Love it.
money line. And then the last prop on the Parlay Plus is Thielen over 3.5 receptions. Yep. Lock it in. This is going to be the week for the giveaway.
Damn, the Thielen one, I know he's been getting targeted and they have to pass a lot, but with Young coming out, I'm going to say that's a great
Andy
bet.
Dalton,
I'm going
yeah,
to say it's a great bet.
great
Because
bet.
Andy Dalton sucks.
Yeah, 2 old
So he's
heads.
just
They're
gonna
going
be
to love
watching.
each other. They're just going to be like,
He's like, dude, I knew you. You're
we're
as
both
old.
30.
Yeah, you're as old as me, dude. Let's just launch it to
We're
each
both
other.
white.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to be. Stupid. It's crazy. I saw something on YouTube real fast. Someone said that Red Rocket out of the socket is a significant upgrade from Young. And I was like,
I believe
not a
it.
chance.
I believe
dude.
it.
Not a
Bryce
chance.
Young looks like trash.
A significant?
All right. Significance, I would say 25%
And
better.
on top of that, let's reinforce this.
He's going to
too.
throw the ball, actually.
Oh yeah, but let's restate this, that a significant upgrade is still horrible for Young. Like any kind of
Who did
upgrade
the Panthers play this week?
from Young is not impressive. Young has looked trash. He's throwing pick after
Yeah,
pick
but that's
after
why they're
pick.
saying significant because he's just so much better than what Bryce Young
Still,
currently
it's
is.
like, what are you gonna do?
Where they
Like,
at?
it's not changing much. It's still the Panthers.
I don't know.
their
Where are they playing?
quarterbacks and their weapons. Just
Mm.
overall, they're trash, especially with their
You gonna
rookie.
say that when they win?
Who they play?
Seahawks. That's a good upset if they beat them.
They're not going to win, but they might keep the spread. They might lock down the spread. I'll give them
5.5
because
it went down when
Seahawks offensive line is hurt all throughout, and then on top of that, you have Metcalf that might not.
You know who
play,
I really want to see play and get healthy? Their rookie, the Seahawks. I haven't seen a highlight from him yet. I mean, he had 5 receptions last week, but he
The running back.
No, the
Oh yeah,
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
S or whatever it is.
So I thought he was the best receiver. I was coming into the class.
I thought Addison had the most talent, to be honest.
Nah, Smith does. He just hasn't played it yet.
I don't know, but I like that long shot. You said it was what odds?
Plus 5,000, 96.
All right, let's get on to mine. I got 2 of them.
2 of them.
Yeah, the first one is anytime
So
touchdown score.
Away both of them.
If one of them hits, then one of them. Yeah, if any
Either
of them
one.
hits,
Okay, all right.
they get it. I'm fine because if I'm winning this type of money, fuck it, I don't care. I'll spread some love. That's for sure. The first one's anytime touchdown score. All right, we're gonna start off not on Monday games because that would be stupid. It's scattered all over my board. All right, we'll start with the 1:00 games. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown score should happen. Happened last week versus the Browns. Obviously, it's a tough rushing defense, but if Titans do what I think they should be doing, which is winning this game, Derrick Henry has to score in order for that to happen, unless they give it to Spears. Then that would kind of just be beat on me, but it is what it is. I'm going to take Henry rushing touchdown. Justin Jefferson to get a touchdown. We talked about how horrible Chargers defense is, and I just see it happening. They're going to give it to him. Unless it goes to Hawkinson, then that could be a bad beat on me as well. Stephon Diggs versus Commanders. I see that happening easily, to be honest. But obviously, that's back-to-back wide receivers, and wide receivers are iffy here and there. And then I got Bijan Robinson. Obviously, I took it as one of my units. I think it's going to happen for sure. That's one of my favorites on this. Then I got Travis Kelce. Anytime touchdown score, it's one of my favorites on this as well. And then Tony Pollard versus the Cardinals. It's going to happen. Let's be honest. Didn't happen last week. I said it's probably going to happen, and it didn't happen. But this is versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are literally tanking for my future bet like we talked about. And it's going to happen. And then that is all the Sunday night games. We move on to Monday night. So if all those hit, we got a little juice. And then I got another parlay, long shot parlay. So if that's happening as well, I might what's it called? Not hedge, but
Cash out.
Yeah, cash out. Might cash out for Monday games because I got 2 anytime touchdown scores in the same game, which is very, very hard to do, especially versus 2 good defenses. Wouldn't say great, but good defenses. You got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. I got A.J. Brown. He's not going to touchdown this year, but he's gotten plenty of targets in the red zone and in the end zone. He should have got it last week. He was very, very pissed with Hurts, and then all of a sudden they just started targeting 24/7. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is, buddy." And then he got the touchdown. But guess what? There was a holding on stupid Penny. So Penny can go screw himself.
Bro, he's fine.
That's fine. He did a
Let
hold.
him rush the ball.
And A.J. Brown would have got a
It's
touchdown.
not a pass
And one of
block.
my hits would have hit. So I'm pissed that he did that because A.J. Brown should have got a touchdown. He's going to get it this week. And then the touchdown king of all touchdowns, Mike Evans. And Baker has to look good, so he's going to throw it to his tall dude that can go up there and get it in the end zone. That's what he's known for. So take the Evans. That gives you plus 22,000. All right? Plus 22,000. One of these, I'm going to keep doing it week in, week out. One of these times, it's going to happen, all right?
We'll see.
If it doesn't, it doesn't, but never know. And then my next long shot parlay is 9 legs this time. All right. This one's a little peppered between touchdowns and other stuff. We're going to run through this real fast. Bijan Robinson, I already talked about him, touchdown. Tyler Algier, under 43.5 rushing yards versus the Lions. I just don't think he's going to get as much workload as he did the week 1. It already dropped off from week 2, or from week 1 to week 2. So I think it's going to drop off. And even on top of that, I don't think he's going to be able to get over that. Obviously, he can break away with how great their offensive line is, but I'm going to take that. And then move on to another game, Broncos versus Dolphins. Mostert over 57.5 rushing yards. I think they'll be in the lead most of the time, and I think he can get this done versus Broncos. And then Mostert to get an anytime touchdown score. Derrick Henry to get an anytime touchdown score. We already said that in the last one. Kirk Cousins to throw over 293 passing yards versus the Chargers. We already talked about Jefferson getting 100 receiving yards. Probably going to happen even more. This Chargers defense is horrible. They let up huge plays to receivers. So hopefully that continues to happen. And then Stephon Diggs over 6.5 receptions. This is the one I'm a little bit iffy on. This is the only one. Actually, there's multiples with the only straight line that's plus is this one. No, second one, should I say. But receptions over 6.5 for Stephon Diggs. I think it's going to easily happen with how much he gets fed from. I can't think of his name. Josh Allen.
I got this weird feeling like none of the legs are going to.
A few of them hit last week, and then most of them didn't. But and then Travis Etienne anytime touchdown score. I think it's a great matchup for Etienne. Plus, he's a receiving back and a rushing back that can do both, so he can get it done whatever way they want to. That's versus the Texans. And then the last one that is the toughest one out of all of them. And unfortunately, it's on the Sunday 1:00. So if this one hits, I'm feeling good about the rest. Taysom Hill anytime touchdown score. He got 70+ rushing yards last week. And Williams is now out, which is their starting running back. Kamara is not back yet, so they're going to their obviously backup, which I don't even know who it is, to be honest. But maybe that means that Taysom Hill runs the ball more and maybe runs it in the red zone. So hopefully he can run it in versus the Packers. That should be a close game in my eyes. And then that gives you plus. I took a boost. So originally it was 32,000, but we got a 30% profit boost. So now it's up 41,000. All right. So if any of these ones hit, one of you guys are getting paid out. It's that simple. But that's our long shots. Let's get straight into our locks.
All right.
Locks of the week. They were good last week.
Yeah.
Mine shouldn't have pushed. Really shouldn't have, but it did. Should have both hit. So
and that's
let's move into it.
Because we didn't do week one locks.
No, we did not.
So really we're 1-0-1, I guess you would call it.
2-0. We're going to call it 2-0. All right. Because we didn't lose money, which means we didn't lose.
It's a tie.
It's not a tie. We didn't lose. We didn't lose.
Sure.
So if we didn't lose, then you have to win.
Anyways, I'm feeling real good about this week's one. It's got super juicy. So you're not going to win as much, but it's worth the investment. I got the Bills, same game parlay, keeping the same game. Bills money line. They play, who do they play? Some trash.
Washington.
Commanders. So they play Commanders. If they choke on this, I'm sorry, but y'all out of the Super Bowl.
They're going to start getting the builders thrown on the field again.
So Bills money line. I mean, their defense is stout. You saw it last game. I'm pretty sure the Commanders have 2 linemen hurt. But regardless, they're letting, even without injuries, they're letting the most pressure to their QB. I think it's top in the league. Sam Howell's getting the most pressure. He's holding on to the ball. He looks like a nervous rookie. He's not slinging as much as he should to his good receivers. So outside of their decent running backs, and the Bills have a great rush defense, like I don't see how the Bills lose this game, even though it's away. And then I got parlayed with over an alternate 28.5 total points. So you tell me the Bills might cover that themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the last leg, so 3 legs, I have James Cook, 25+ rushing yards. He's hit this every week this year. Last week he ran for 123 yards. The week before, 49 yards. And that was versus the Eagles rush defense. Was it? No. Who the hell did he play really good week 1?
Cook? His brother.
Bills and
Vikings.
They lost.
No, Jets.
He did that versus the Jets defense week 1. So you're telling me this guy doesn't get 25+ rushing yards? I'm telling you he tore his ACL because it's happening. So lock it in. I got 7 units on it. I said it was juice. I'm not lying. It's negative 160 odds. 7 units to win just over 5 units or just under 5 units.
I would say it's the most surprising one I'm not against.
The money line?
is the money line. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see them. I can't see them losing, but if anything's going to
Happens.
miss, it's probably going to be the money line. To be honest.
But I feel like all these are like 85% or higher, if not 90%.
Yeah,
So lock it in.
that under is just the over under. The over
Dude, if this
is so low.
If the over is like, if the total points is like 24, I'll be so mad. Like if the Bills won 21
Washington
to 3.
has that type of defense, and so do Bills, but like I just can't see that happening. That's such a low number. That is extremely low. You'll never see that as a regular. Like nothing under 30 ever happens. Even low 30s.
Just
On the lines
I'm saying
that Vegas puts out?
no, not when Vegas
Yeah,
puts out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing ever
Like, games
goes on
happen.
30.
It's just very unlikely. Like this isn't the Panthers and Saints.
Yeah.
Like these are two actually pretty good offenses.
Yeah.
It's just Bills way better defense.
All right. The next one I got from my lock is
Next one, is there only
my
one?
last one.
Oh.
But I have two of them. I'm going to split up the units before this podcast.
The hell?
And do 3 and 3.
It's not a fucking lock.
It is a lock.
It's not a lock. You're not putting it all on one.
But I liked the one, and the other one came out, and I already put the other one.
Whatever one you like more, you got to put 5 units on, and then you can do your other play. But it's not a lock.
All right, we'll do my other play.
I put 3 units on Jahmyr Gibbs. That wasn't my lock, but I got screwed.
We'll do my other play of
Or you
Andrews.
can parlay them together.
We'll do my other play. We'll put 1 unit on Andrews.
Okay.
Andrews over 54.5 receiving yards at minus 114. All right. This strictly comes down to the Colts being 29th worst in pass yards allowed per game. So they are horrible as far as stopping the pass. Plus, you have Andrews being like the number 1 target on the team. And I looked into it, every single defender from linebackers back are 6'1" and below, besides one dude that's 6'4" or 6'2". So literally, they're all midgets. They're all like super, super small. Mark Andrews can literally just stick his hands over all of them. I don't know if any of them have crazy hops, but literally, he's going to get enough receptions that he should be able to get these yards. It's just more or less that if for whatever reason he doesn't get the receptions, then it's going to be kind of hindering. But as far as Yak, I think he can get that as well with how small their dudes are. A lot of them are under 200 pounds, which is horrible. And that will give me a boost on my lock that I will say a little bit later. But then they allow the 24th, which is the 68 receiving yards. I'm trying to get where I'm at. They allow 24th highest completion percentage to attempts. So meaning not only do they let up the yards, but they also allow one of the most completion percentages throughout the league. So any kind of attempts mostly turn into completions. So as long as he gets the catches, then it should be good. Targets that Colts have let go over this 54.5. Calvin Ridley. This is only 2 weeks. Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Tank Dell. That's 5 people going over this number that they have let up.
It's no tight ends.
2 weeks.
Granted, he's the biggest
but
target.
There is no tight ends that they versed that is 6'5". Like I just talked, they're all short. The closest one was 6'2", which was Evan Ingram's, and he got 49 receiving yards.
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah. But
he's not
technically Mark Andrews is too. We talked about it last year.
He's a big boy though.
Yeah, but we talked about it last year. He's literally one of the tight ends that doesn't line
block
up for blocking.
Yeah, but I'm saying the way he
technically-
catches balls is a lot different than ever.
But that's the thing is they have small linebackers and small corners that literally he can get amazing yak off the plays because he's so much bigger than them. But either way, that's 5 dudes in 2 weeks that you let go over that. So, and like I said, Evan Ingram got 49
So
receiving
Zay
yards.
Flowers it is. I'm just kidding.
So my lock is Zay Flowers
Here we go.
to go over 4.5 receptions. He got 4 last week when Mark Andrews came back. The week before that, he got
7, 9.
I think it was 8. If my phone can load.
He's got like almost 8+ targets every game.
He got 9 receptions last game. All right, and then you got 4 or week 1 versus Houston, and you got 4 versus Cincinnati last week. I looked into his tape. Basically, every single catch he's made, it's just bubble screens majority of the time. There's a few slot catches that he makes, and then there's like 1 or 2 that are over the top, crazy receiving yards. So I wanted to take his receiving yards, but they're at 53 and a half, I believe it is. And if he doesn't get that over the top long one, then it kind of scares me that he's not going to get it, even though he could get those receptions, which then could put it very close to it. But with the way they use him, they literally give him like screens that are behind the line of scrimmage. So if you're giving me a bubble screen 24/7 or like majority of my targets, I think he's going to catch every single one almost with how talented he is. So that's why I'm taking his over 4.5 receiving yards or receptions at minus 114, and we're going to put 6 units on that boy. All right, 6 units.
If you didn't already know, to help prop your bet up, OBJ is out for the game.
Yes, I didn't know that. I just didn't say that. I don't know why I didn't put it in my notes, but yes, I did see he's out. I took a look at other people. Duvernay, which is on the team, Bateman, which is on the team, they got no work whatsoever the first 2 weeks.
They're not even on the field that much.
Yeah, they're like 20%. So obviously they just
higher, but he's only averaging 3 targets.
So it just shows that how much where they drafted Zay Flowers and how much respect he got coming in the year when Bateman and Duvernay were already on the team, how much they respect him. So as long as Mark Andrews doesn't go completely off with receptions and targets, which is possible with this secondary, like I talked about being as small as they are and how big Mark Andrews is. Plus, their number 1 back is hurt. Plus, I think Hill is questionable as well. So their running game is just completely almost like nothing as far as their players, but they can obviously run the ball with Jackson RPOing it 24/7. So that is in the equation. But you can just see this easily going over as far as I could see both these bets hitting, which is why I took both of them. But I was only going to take his receptions and not Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews' receiving yards came first, and then right before we were about to do this podcast, his receptions came up, and I was like, I got to do it. This is what I wanted to do in the first place. So take it at 16 or 6 units.
16 units.
At minus 114 for 4.5 over 4.5 receptions.
Right.
And that is it.
We need 12 units to get back in the positive.
12 units together combined, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. That's easy enough.
It's doable.
Half of it's going to come right there just with those 2 plays. Lock them in, boys. And if we're doing great, dude, I'm probably going to be doing a Sunday night because it's Steelers versus Raiders, even though I already put a unit on, what's his name? Najee. But if not, you always got Monday coming around. If we do great on Sunday, I'm definitely going to be betting heavy on Mondays, probably like a 2-unit, 3-unit, because there's 2 games going on. So there's a lot of bets to look into. So, yeah, we hope you guys have a great week. Hopefully we bounce back. Both still negative this week and the first week, so it is what it is. Get your bad beats, and then you come back.
Yep.
That's all it's about. Sticking in the long run. All right, well, have a good week. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, look for our reels, look for our future bets, and anything else that you guys want to know or got questions on, leave a comment below. Have a great week, boys. Peace.